So you've just signed up as a qualified MSP to our free onboarding service. Yusuf, what does that process look like? What does the journey start with?
So, the first thing after you've qualified as an MSP for this service is for us on our onboarding session to evaluate not the technical, but the operational elements of where you are as an MSP. So, that's really just talking about okay, what is in scope? Do you want tickets to come to us out of hours, in hours, overflow, just on holidays? How do you want that to look? Do you want them to forward from your PSA to ours? Um, do you expect your customers to get a call or just an email back? So it's all of that very high level stuff, which delves a little bit into how your PSA works, how your KB, but it really is just figuring out how you think your MSP is going to work best with us, and then us feeding back to you. Well, you're a little bit like customer X over here. Customer X does it like this. Will that suit? We have a dedicated DDI that looks similar to your number. Are you happy us calling out on that? Or do you want us to just call out on your number? Or do you not want us to call at all? And so it's about finding those best fit models that we have quite a few, but there are only really a handful of ways that you make a service seamless, sound perfect to the end user, and be not frustrating for the MSP involved as well.
Yeah, fundamentally, that first meeting is about customizing and tailoring the service to best fit the MSP's needs
Mm.
at that time.
From an operational perspective, though, right?
Yes, yeah. The second meeting, the second part of the onboarding process is really diving down into the technical
Mhm.
operational side. How do you use your ticketing system? How do you want us logging tickets? How do you want us remote and interacting with users? What tools are you using? Yeah, can we access this? Do you only want us to have access to certain parts of your business? That's really where we drill down in the technical side of the onboarding.
And often, I believe we come across a lot of things that, from an operational perspective, in that first meeting, that first discussion, look one way. But then, after you delve technically into, you realize, well, they don't match at all with what you thought was happening or with what you wanted to happen, even on a basic level within your MSP. And so, there's some alignment, I imagine, that goes on between, well, you asked for this or you expected it to work like this, but based upon the way your PSA is set up, these alerts don't go anywhere. These SLA announcements don't go anywhere. These engineers don't get alerts. Maybe we need to think about realigning those before we get into the nitty gritty of actually tickets coming to us.
100%. It's about outlining the risk factors that are involved with the technical side of the support, and that's why it's really important for us to involve the technical support engineers that are actually going to be working on your help desk with part of the onboarding process, so they can see exactly what's going on and flag any questions up straight away during the onboarding process, rather than 3 months down the line when you're live and a ticket comes through in a way that perhaps we weren't expecting it to come through.
So we've got through the operation evaluation. We then go into the technical. Now, we're obviously there not to change completely the way MSPs work, and we want to figure out a way that we can slide in around what they want to do as their core. But I imagine we discover a load of things along the way that we then go, these are things that we should probably let the MSP know, and we could work on a longer timeline.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we've introduced the tuning center as a follow up part of the onboarding process. So the onboarding doesn't stop as soon as you go live. We stick with you via the tuning center to fine tune those little SOPs and those processes that you might have that differ from industry standards, and we'll look to help you implement more aligned processes.
So, after the technical meeting, part of the onboarding, what is the third stage? What's next, and how long does all this take?
The third and final stage for us is testing, and we need to be absolutely certain that we're going to be able to provide the same great level of service that your engineers are providing on the help desk already. So that is, doing some test tickets with you and your engineers, making sure that we can receive the calls and tickets in a way that works, and making sure that you're happy and you're confident in our ability as well. And then the final stage is training. So we've got teams that need training, and every member of staff in every location is trained to be able to provide that level of service, so anyone can pick up the phone and help your customers.
So, how do we align all of our teams to know how to deliver particular parts for every MSP? Because every MSP is different. I assume there's some degree of standardization that we encourage MSPs to fall in line to so that we know we can deliver for MSP 1 in the same way as MSP 101.
Yeah, of course. There's always going to be industry standard processes that should be followed, but we understand some MSPs differ from that industry standard, and often that is fine. We will always do our best to realign those MSPs where we see fit. So if there is a process maybe that isn't quite aligned with the industry standards, a password reset policy, for example, we'll be sure to flag that with them in tuning center meetings and follow up meetings after the onboarding process.
And in terms of information we hold after that point, I want to be clear, all information regarding MSP's clients are retained solely within the MSP's PSA. We hold nothing of any importance apart from name and address of the PSA, name and address of the MSP and PSA access and credential management and things like that. In terms of process data we hold, I believe we have flowcharts, we have SOPs, we have supported customers fields, we have times covered. Are these the sorts of things that we retain on our side?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. We don't store any customer data, any end user data is not within our system. There's no integration to worry about. We make it super simple. Everything's contained within your own environment. As you said, we do have training videos that and SOPs that we will create internally and distribute to our team, but never any customer data.
So obviously, when MSPs join us, they might be small, they might be large. We don't know what happens, but let's say I'm a small MSP, 1 or 2 people, and I get to 10 people. Do I have to onboard again?
No, to be clear, the onboarding process happens once and once only, and that's why it takes us the full 4 weeks to get an MSP from contract signed to fully operational with us, because we go so in depth in our onboarding process. You're ready to scale up or down whenever you need to.